Hey everyone, welcome to a little bit of woo woo. So grateful that you came to join us today. We are going to talk about this is going to be part of my ongoing series on little tips and tools that you can use to develop your intuition. I wanted to have some of my amazing guests back who are intuitive to give you guys some very practical things and some woo woo things, because that's part of our brand here, to help you develop your own intuition, because you're going to be hearing a lot of BS in the world, a lot of things that aren't true. And you'll need to be able to discern what's true for you, and what's not. And this is very helpful because I know Mara is probably the same way. I use my intuition in everything that I do, not just for work. Is this bottle of milk expired? Is this good for me? I use my intuition all the time. And if you can get to a place where you're developing your intuition personally, you start to get a whole new world opening up. So I'm going to introduce, you guys already know her. She's been a guest on the show many times, which I love, Mara Clearspring Cook. And we're going to talk about tips and tools to develop your intuition. Mara, what you got? What do you think? What do people need to do?
Well, I decided today what we talk about, I try to always put it in a shamanic perspective since I'm a shamanic practitioner. But this number one tip is universal, and that's get out of your way. Get out of your way. Your head is not your friend. Your mind is overthinking, over explaining, over rationalizing. So we need to be able to get out of our own way. One way to do that is to get better at calming down, getting centered. If you do meditation or take shamanic journeys, ways that alter your brainwave state, these things help you to turn off that ego-driven that goes across your head all the time. So that's my number one, is get out of your own way. What do you think about that?
I love that. I love the idea of introducing the ego, because people, I have people book sessions like, can you get rid of my ego? No, we don't want to get rid of your ego. It's a healthy thing. But you got a very good point. Our ego, can interfere, because ego's job is all about status quo. It's all about maintaining, because that's what makes you safer. And status quo is not opening up intuitively and start doing tarot card readings. It's status quo is probably keeping your job, right? I love that. That's a very good tip.
Yeah, thanks. Number two, I would say ask. Don't just wait.
Yep.
Ask. Okay. So one of the things my guides actually trained me to do, because I'd be in the middle of total, meltdown and trying to do a journey and talk to my guides. And they would be saying, get up, grab your purse, go to the Barnes and Noble and walk to the first table that you see and see which book, the very first book you see is going to be the one you need. I'm like, I'm in a shamanic journey. You're telling me to go shopping? Yes. Well, that was me trusting the message. I was asking for help. I got a message. I trusted it. I did go and ended up finding the book, Ask and It Is Given, Abraham Hicks.
It's a great book.
It's a fabulous book. I have not done I haven't read any of the other books, but I love that book. It was so helpful for me. So ask a question. And then, maybe I'll make this number three, actually. Listen to the answer. There are answers coming in. All right. You're getting an answer that says, yes, get up early and work out. Or no, don't go to that party. You're getting these answers and you want to argue with them because they're not the answers that you want. Go back to tip number one. So listen to the answers.
Love it.
Then I'd say number four would be validate. I do this all the time. I do journeys for people, do healing work, and they hear a message in the healing work, and I know that they already know this, but sometimes we're getting that message about you need to pull back away from that relationship, or you need to get out your resume because that job isn't working out for you. And we're like, no, I can tough it out. No, I can make it better. No, we're resisting change or resisting the message. So I'll just get out my cards. I'll just get out some cards and shuffle them up. I say, well, let's just see what the cards have to say, let's see what the cards have to say about your intuition. Ooh, power. Okay. Your intuition is your superpower and everybody has it.
Yes, everybody has it. Love that point because people just don't
Yes.
want to acknowledge that. Like everybody can do this. I'm special, but I'm not special. I just spent more time working on it, developing it. I'm not any different than anybody listening. So don't think of me as a guru or a teacher. I'm sure Mara would say the same thing, but I don't want to put words in your mouth. Which is exactly what I'm doing.
What you said, what you ditto. We have a shorthand for that in conversations called ditto.
Yeah.
So yeah. I'm not. I just chose to flex that muscle, to exercise.
Good
Well,
way
I
of
didn't have a
putting it.
choice really.
Yeah.
I got poked at it from, when I was single digit, as I like to say. I was always poked by literally spirits, but that whole, there's a world outside these five senses, and what you see on the evening news isn't the whole story, and you can get information from other things. Don't be afraid to use tools. Okay. So I like using crystals. When I have clients come in and their brain is going and they can't make a decision about something, and honestly, maybe it's not the right time to make a decision. Don't always use intuition to make a final decision. You can use it as a tool to help you, move your focus another direction. I'll put sodalite on their third eye. Okay. And I have found over the years, sodalite is really good at helping us tune it to the right channel. This is my discovery.
Is it sodalite?
This is sodalite. Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah. Lapis.
It does look like lapis
is,
though, doesn't it?
It does, but it's not. It's sodalite. There's no gold in it. I bought it from a guy.
I know, I believe you. I'm like,
yeah.
I just was similar to like, wow, sodalite looks a lot like lapis. I have to look.
Right. I have lapis right here. This lapis has gold. It's a deeper color. It has gold. And it doesn't have any, well, it has tiny, whiny white streaks. I use this on the throat chakra. Using them together. Okay, we're going to do crystals right now, I guess. Yeah. Using them together, like this is helping me tune in to what I want to see. This is helping me interpret and speak it or express it. So lapis is helping me attune it to something I can express. And sodalite is helping me attune to the frequency I want to look at.
Those are nice size too, because they're, well, I'm sure that's why, because usually in session, but because they're not weighty. I love that. Okay.
Yeah, I tend to get the smaller stones to put on people so they're not thinking I'm crushing them with rocks.
There you go. Right. Past life trauma. There.
I think that one of the things to remember too is if you are working on your intuition, then, and you're not trusting yourself, it does help to have validation from an outside source. So if you have had a sense about something and then somebody who's in an intuitive field, and you can either talk around the thing and see if they perceive it, or you can literally just go, blah, I've been worrying about this. What are your thoughts? What does your gut tell you? As long as you trust that source, you might get that little bit of information that helps you fine tune your intuition even better about the thing that you're inquiring. Okay. So it does use tools and sometimes use outside sources, other people who are intuitive.
I love that. That's a great way of putting it too, because it sounds like what you're saying is getting confirmation. Like I'm feeling this. I'm kind of, it's nudging me. I'm getting a little nudge of this, talking to someone and getting a confirmation, because your spirit guides will sometimes just say, tap your best friends on the shoulder. Hey, tell her about this. They don't even know that's where the information's coming from. That's a great way of putting it.
Yeah. That can help. Also, journal. Write it out.
This is the cheapest form of therapy there is. You guys realize this?
Yeah. I have like a journal for this, a journal for that. I have journals. One thing that's helpful is if you're a student of your own life, is to go back at look at old journals, and you'll see things that you wrote that were prophetic. You'll see patterns that you're living that help you adjust your intuition now. Like, oh, wait, I did this before. I just forgot. Okay, I'm going to try something new now. So sometimes having that written record helps. And also just the act of journaling is an engagement of spirit. You might write something you like had never been thinking about, and suddenly you're writing out something that you really want, or a solution you didn't realize you had. You're giving access to spirit to come through when you write. When you type, it's not the same. They'll even show you a EEG or whatever it is that they do with the head, where I love all the technical terms I know, where you use a different part of your brain when you're typing versus writing. So this is accessing a part of our own body magic. And that takes me right to another point. And I've lost count of where we're at, but it's probably like around 7 or 8, something like that.
So great.
You use your body. You know what muscle testing is. Most of us do. When you pick up a thing, like I'll do that with my jewelry. I'll pick up a piece of jewelry. Should I wear this today? For me, my muscle testing technique for that is if I lean a bit forward, that's yes. If I lean backward, that's no. And if I'm kind of wobbling, it's a meh, you could, and that helps me pick things, not dependent on what color I'm wearing necessarily, but the vibration of the stone, because I am so sensitive, right, to these things. And I find that using different crystals helps me strengthen or maybe even help calm some of my energy. Kind of depends on where you're at. So use your body. If you are in the middle of a situation and you're having a gut reaction, is it a gut, oh my God, I'm so scared, I'm triggered, I'm afraid, I want to fight, fly, fawn, I want to do all those scary reactions, that fight or flight reflex. I'm going to go down to my scary animal reactions to things. Or is it a gut instinct like, ooh, butterflies? You pay attention to that. Even pay attention to what part of your body might be responding. Are your knees suddenly not working so well? Your pain level suddenly shot up when you have the opportunity to take on a new task in your life, a new role, your knees are often associated with fear of moving forward or the ability to move forward. So your knees are talking where your mind is not maybe connecting. So sometimes if you find something going on in your body, you're going to want to literally put your hand on that part of your body and say, what are you trying to tell me, honey? What's going on?
That's it. I love this. And I think I've told this story before, but I want to share a quick story I had a client. Well, it wasn't a client. He was a friend of mine who actually had gotten on a plane that ended up going down. He got on the plane. He was sitting in his seat and his stomach was doing the flippy floppies and he started to get IBS and he's like, and he sat there. He's like, oh, I don't want to have to buy another ticket. It's such a pain. This was in the 70s or 80s. I can't remember. When it was actually fairly easy to buy a new ticket. Like now it's not. This was just an epic poem to go buy a new ticket. But he's like, forget it. I'll just take the next flight. Goes home, when it goes and crashes on a friend's couch, is woken up by a phone call to his friend letting her know that, John's flight went down and everybody was on board was dead. And she's like, he's on the couch. He's over here. He's on the couch. And she was telling me that he was telling me that he always listened to that always listened to when his body would tell him that something. I know this is an extreme example of this, but I love that you bring up that point because our physical body does tell us a lot of things. It's a tuning fork, and you're wise to listen to it. And it's so good that you brought up how important that physical aspect is.
It is. We are in a body and it's an amazing device and we don't use all the gadgets. Let's just put it that way. So I love that you had that story to explain. And I've read a lot of different stories. I can't think of one for my own right now, but I do know that there've been times where my body said, yeah, don't do the thing. Or too often your body gives you messages afterwards. Like, what'd you do that for?
Actually, you're from San Diego. The flight that he was on was that flight in San Diego that went down in El Cajon. I'm telling you a story. Now Mara and I are talking to each other. You guys can listen. But yeah, he was on that plane in San Francisco. It started in San Francisco. And he was on that plane. And and he got off and a bunch of his friends. That was
a long time ago. Yeah, I wasn't in San Diego at that time, but I believe I've heard of it from people who lived here in San Diego at that time.
It's very traumatizing for the people in San Diego who were there during the time because it basically almost landed on a high school, and some of the remains, let's just put it that way, remains had been brought to El Cajon High School, I think. Yeah. Anyway, let's just move on from that. But the point is well made. Use your own intuition and pay attention to your body. And I'm so glad that you brought that up. Any other little bits before we end this? I think this is a good place for people to start looking and exploring.
I think, yeah, we've given them lots. I just have one more.
Yes, please.
All right. And this gets into dream work. All right. Because if we're so busy during the day and we've tried all these other things and we just can't get clarity, and we're not following our intuition. Oh, actually I have two more things.
You can even do three, Mara. It's all right.
I know I want to keep this short though. So, but anyway, the write down your problem and say, I will get an answer in my dreams. I will remember it. I will understand it, and I will write it down in the morning. So you write that in your dream journal, and you go to bed, and you pay attention to your dreams. It may not work the first night, although it probably will. It may not work the second. But when you do that kind of work, you are inviting your intuition to come through in the dream time. When I was in, I don't know how old I was, 30s. I was in my 30s. I decided to do an Edgar Cayce study on my own, which means I read a bunch of his books, and then I committed to, I'm going to wake up at night when I have a dream, and I'm going to write it down, and then I'll go back to sleep. And I made that really solemn vow to myself, and I could do it. I'd wake up, I'd write a few little things down so I could remember it, and I'd go back to sleep. I got to where I could do that 7 times in one night, which is crazy, right? Totally nuts. But when I got to that point, I said, okay, I'm done with that. I can do this, and that's really cool. I wonder what will happen. And it turned out some of those dreams were prophetic. And then they told me about something that was going to happen. Like there were these whales that got trapped in the ice in the Arctic Circle. And I dreamed about these whales, 2 of them. And there were 2 whales that had gotten trapped. I can't remember if they saved the whales. I just remember
I think they did. I remember this on the news. I think they're like Russians brought an ice cutter or something. I don't remember.
Boom, boom, boom. Bash.
It's awesome. It's a great
story.
It
was awesome, but it was a really freaky scene that I saw because I had not had that type of dream before about being in basically on the ice and seeing these whales and being really worried about them. So there's that. And then the other thing that I was going to say that I hope I remember now about intuition. Oh, practice. When you're driving, practice knowing where the parking space is going to be.
Ooh, that's a good one.
when you're going to when you hear the phone ring, practice knowing who it is, or text. Everybody texts, nobody calls anymore, right? Practice knowing who it is that's texting you. Okay, these are the practice if you're going on a walk. I haven't seen a coyote in ages. There's a coyote. Practice doing these things. Part of it is attraction, but also part of it is I am willing to open up that, what I call the shamanic eye, your third eye. I'm willing to open that up, receive information, be aware of it, understand it, and make it applicable to my life.
Love it. That's so, what you've given is things that are so practical and don't involve 3 years of school. Mm-hmm. I love these very practical. I love the idea of practicing where, knowing where the parking space is. And I love the dream thing. I love writing that down because I think of it in terms of, and I love the way you described it, but I think of it in terms of your spirit guides have said, oh, here's a way that we can give her information where she opened the door. She opened the door. She's promising that she's going to listen. She said she's going to write it down. I believe her, I love that. That's great advice. Anything else?
Shamanism. Yeah, that's cool. Yeah. Shamanism is all about building relationships with beings that are not in bodies.
Love it. Well, beings. I love the way you said beings and not like humans without a body, like the trees and the coyotes.
Consciousness that's outside of the body, and that we can tap into it. And then we can work with that to improve our lives in the physical body. So your intuition is just one of the gifts that you have. Maybe you haven't opened it up yet. Take the wrapping off.
Box. Take the wrapping off. It's Pandora's box. Don't be afraid of it. I don't know.
Play with it. No, that's a really good point. I have had a number of clients whose talent tends to be along the lines of seeing tragedies. So they will see plane crashes before they happen. They will understand that there's going to be a flood or there's going to be a war. I mean, they will be very disturbing to them. Honestly, if you're a person that's having that, you don't have to deal with that alone. See somebody like Jill or me who can help you. Like I said, where's my soul light? Let's change the dial. but seriously, but just help you build a protocol so that those things, if you don't want that information, you don't have to receive it. Because a lot of us people think, oh, I got to do something about this. Really, you can't.
Yep.
You can't change the weather much. You can't stop the plane from falling down, but you can get off it, like the story that you told. You can't stop countries from battling each other, but you can work on what you tune into so that it is actually beneficial to you and you can make a difference in your life.
Well, I can see too, asking spirit is like, thanks for showing me all the really bad stuff. Can you show me some of the good stuff too? You know,
yeah,
can we have
exactly.
Can we have a little balance or like some information of things that I can actually do something about?
Right. And since you brought that up, I'll just say, if you have those kind of dreams or visions or intuitions, and you don't want to go to someone, you just say, Mara, give me an instant answer. Okay, I'll say, then make an offering. Go get in gratitude, get into compassion, write the thing down and burn it. Go outside, give some tobacco to a wise tree or a boulder. Ask spirit to hold you and help you transmute and release that energy so that you're not part of the anchoring of that reality in the 3D world.
Love it. Great advice. I hope you guys enjoyed this. If you have questions for further videos, or if you want to contact with Mara directly, I will put her information in the description. And I hope you guys find this helpful. And please, just like it, even just say something. It helps the algorithm and helps more people get to see this kind of video, because a lot of people really do need this information. Especially since what Mara has given is so very practical and so very useful for just like the average person. It doesn't involve buying anything really expensive here.
Unless you like
any old person. A handful of crystals won't cost you that much. If you get the really big stuff, yeah, maybe. But I love it. Thanks, guys. I hope you enjoyed this. Bye, everyone. Thank you so much.
Bye-bye.
Bye.